First home buyers. This is an idea. Who's looking to buy a home in, say, the next 3 months or so? I don't know who's in the room, so maybe a couple here, probably next 6 months, possibly another one next year, yeah, and then beyond that. So there's a bit of a mix in the room. Well done for being here, because I believe that you need to get educated first before buying, and you're better off. Some people that have bought in the last couple of months, although they're in the market now, they're far worse off than you guys because they didn't plan how they got into the market. So well done for being here. I'll just introduce myself quickly for those that don't know me. My journey, after finishing school, I got my accounting degree, so that's what I firstly did out. So what I've become is very good at numbers over the years. And I got out of accounting a couple of years ago and got into property investing. And I've been very lucky that a guy called Steve McKnight, I don't know if anyone knows Steve, has anyone heard of him? A couple of people. That's his latest book, Zero to 260 Properties in 7 years. So as you can see, the guy does all right, he knows what he's talking about. And over the last probably 2.5 years, Steve's been coaching me. So I'm sort of taking my knowledge from what I've learned in investing and in property and passing it on to first home buyers, sort of simplifying it to what I think they need to know so they can get into the market sooner. And a big problem as well with first home buyers is we're competing against investors primarily because we're both after the cheaper properties, but having the cheaper, who's going to have the best chance of getting that cheaper property? It's probably going to be the investor because number one, they've got the money, and number two, they've got the knowledge. So I've titled this talk that, you know, becoming a smart first home buyer, because the fact is, unless we become smarter at what we do, we're just going to be wiped out of the market by the investors and people with more experience than us. So what I did about 3 years ago, when I started looking for homes, I was going to lots of auctions and just kept missing out. I was approved for a loan for about $300,000 at the time, which would have been great, except I would have really been stretching my budget. And I didn't think far enough into it. I just thought, if I get into the market, that's all that matters. You can't lose in property. But the fact is, you most definitely can lose in property. I was chatting to a few people just before, and if I had bought that home at $300,000 and found it unaffordable, you often see this in the media, how first home buyers are the first ones hit. And where the problem lies is, when they sell, they might be locked into a loan. Like often it's even 2% of the purchase price as an exit fee. So to sell your home, not only are you going to have to pay a real estate agent 2 or 3%, which may be $15,000, you have to pay $6,000 to get out of the loan. So suddenly, not only can you not afford to pay to stay in the home, you can't afford to sell it. So it's a really tough situation to be in, which is why it's so important to become educated first. So when you do get into the market, it's all planned out, and you'll be fine. Because once you know these little tips, you will be fine. There's, you know, as long as you plan, there's really nothing to worry about. Losing money, I've done it. I bought a property out in country Victoria, a place called Morwell. And that was just because I just did things wrong. I rushed in, and a big key is you don't know what you don't know. So even though I had all this accounting knowledge, at this time I was just starting out with property, and there's just so much that you really don't know, and you think you do. So there's just those little traps. If you become aware of them when you are getting into the market, like it's great that you guys, some aren't buying for 12 months. It's a perfect time to be listening to this information. So when the time comes, you're ready to go. I did finally get it right and bought my first home. And what I did, I built a good relationship with an agent who you'll speak with later, Rob. He knew what I wanted. I knew what I could afford, what I could pay. And what I ended up doing was using another friend as well and going tenants in common, which I think is going to be a more common way in the future of buying property, not just by yourself, but possibly with someone else. Because for us, it's going to work out well, and we've got our own strategy where we're going in the future. Getting educated, like I said, I've been educated by the best, definitely Steve McKnight, and I go to a lot of property seminars, and I hear from a lot of people on what they're doing.